Hey, what's good, everybody? We
Yo,
live.
yo, yo.
I'm in the middle of a conversation and shit. I never shut my blinds, so I probably have half of Warwick, Rhode Island watching me right now, but it's all good. We're gonna let this room build right now. If you're in here, pop a comment, drop a GME, drop a what's good.
Drop a
What up,
question.
Jarrell?
Drop a question. We're gonna get to the questions around 8:30, so make sure you drop a question in there.
Angelica, what's good? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, guys, if you have a question throughout the night, just drop it in the comments. We're gonna get to that around 8:30, 8:40. We'll be rocking till 9 o'clock tonight. You see my guests below me. I got a couple of heads trickling in. What's good, guys?
Give us a share, give us a like. Let's get more people in here.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Drop a comment, drop a like. All right, I'm gonna drop a commercial. Be right back.
Welcome to Behind the Grind. I'm your host, Trip B. I've been rocking with Grind Mode Cypher for a decade now. Have been featured in about 50 ciphers, and I'm approaching 3 million views on this channel. This platform's given me the opportunity to work with artists such as Jarv, Ren Thomas, Pace One, Apathy, Daylight, Chris Webby, Slain, and Blind Fury. This is my co-host, Johnny Concepts. Johnny's been rocking with the team for about a decade as well, featured in nearly 15 ciphers approaching 1 million views. He's been able to work with artists like Rex and Chris Webby. We are your hosts for Behind the Grind. Please like, comment, subscribe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the show, Behind the Grind, Volume 60. I am your host, Trip B. This is my co-host.
Johnny Concepts, what's up, everybody?
We're gonna keep peeling back the curtain on some of your favorite Grind Mode affiliates. Tonight we got the homie Sinical, or Hi, I Rap and Stuff. Good, man.
What up?
What up, man? How you
Yo,
been?
Nick.
I'm just living the dream, bro.
That's what's up.
That's what's up, man. Thank you for joining us and taking the time. I wanted to know, fucking, let the people know where you're from and how did you get into hip hop? Like, was hip hop something that was always around your household, or was hip hop something you found a little bit later in life?
So, I mean, I'm from pretty much everywhere in Massachusetts, bro. The only parts of the state I haven't lived in is like Western Mass and Boston. Everywhere else, yeah. Most people, say, I'm from Fall River. It's the only spot that I've ever lived for the longest period of time, just because I've moved so much. As far as getting into hip hop, I lived with my grandparents and my mom when I was a kid, and I had an uncle. He was like 12, 13 when I was born. So this was right around the time where hip hop was like really starting to hit the airwaves, and there was always music in the house. Like my mom loved 80s music, so your big hair bands, Meatloaf, you know what I mean? And then you have a teenager where like hip hop's coming on the scene. So like then I heard like Ice-T, LL Cool J, and then and then right around the time I became a teenager, like really really young, I started writing, and slowly that turned into, oh, I can rap. You know what I'm saying? Like I can put pen to paper, but I can also make a story, and I can relate to people.
So,
Now, what was it that kind of made you wanna like become a writer and start rapping? Like, was there any specific moment that you can think of that you were just like, damn, I need to do this?
Um, Man, I wish there was. It'd probably be really cool for me to say, be like, oh yeah, there was this one time,
Yeah.
but no, not really, man. I mean, honestly, the way I started writing, what a lot of people do is, I was going through some shit in life, even at a young age. Things were really difficult, and so I started to use writing as a way to escape. So instead of acting off of emotion, I would take it, bottle it up, and then I'd find the pen, I'd write it down, and that just became a way for me to vent frustration and things like that. But I remember when I was in seventh grade. Back then we could like jack beats any way we wanted, and so like I remember I jacked the Tupac Pain beat, and I I wrote a whole track to it, and I recorded it like on a computer, like a computer mic or whatever, and started sending it out to like a couple of my friends, and they're like, yo, this shit is dope. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, cool. People actually like what I'm doing. Maybe I should keep doing it.
Right. Right.
So as you had, hip hop coming up and shit, who were some of the main influences when it came to, you mentioned like the hair bands and shit growing up that your mom was playing, and you just kind of, vaguely mentioned getting into hip hop and shit, but give me some solid names from teenage years or prior or whatever that really formed the artist that you are today.
So I'm gonna say first, let me just get the cliche one out the way, Eminem.
Yeah.
Let me just get that one out the way. But I do remember being a kid, like sitting on the couch back when we had like MTV, and I see this dude on a park bench in like a jumpsuit, and I hear, "Hi, my name is," and I'm like, "Whoa, like what is this?" But once I really started to dive into it, like as far as like mainstream artists are concerned, like I've always loved Nas. I mean, he's got the look, he's got the flow, he's got the lyrics. Maybe doesn't always have the beat, but I've always loved Nas. He's definitely, in my opinion, he's one of the greats. Big Pun is another one. I mean, he died way too early. We don't know how good he was going to be. Same thing with Big L. Big L was incredible. We don't know how good he could have been. But I mean, he was saying shit back in, the early and mid 90s that like, if I was to say it today, people would think it was dope.
Yeah. Facts.
And then, other artists, that are probably a little bit more away from hip hop, like, cause I do like 80s music. I like Meatloaf.
Right.
I like other like Boyz II Men, New Edition. And then if you want to go into the Wayback Machine, I mean, Sam Cooke, Benny King. So I like pretty much anything that has soul. If you can make me feel what you're saying, I'm gonna like it.
That's dope. Yeah, R.I.P. Meatloaf, man.
A New Edition is fire. Yeah. I love New Edition.
Right. And I remember like, listening to him as a kid. I had no idea they were from Boston. I'm like, what? And then I found out that they're like from here, and I'm like, well, now I just love them more.
Right.
Yeah,
they have a really dope story, but yeah,
they do.
I had a question. I forgot what I was gonna say, but so when you started writing and stuff, like, did you always go by Sinical, or like, did you have like a different rap name that you went by?
I don't think I ever had a different name. I remember when I first came up with the name. I remember I was going through the dictionary, right? Because back then I was trying to learn words. Like, I was so young, you know what I mean? You're 13 years old, like 5 words. Right. and so, I'd go through the dictionary, the thesaurus, and I was always hearing about like, you're so fucking negative, you're this, you're that, like everything, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, bet. Okay. So I started looking up like negative and things that are negative, and I found the word cynical, and obviously it's spelled CYN. And I was like, I don't like that. I'm gonna flip it, make it my own. And so at first I went by Cynical Rhymes with a Z, because if you do it with an S, it's not cool.
Right.
And,
Facts.
And within probably a couple years, I just dropped that all together, and I was like, nah, it's just gonna be just one name. It's gonna be Cynical, and that's been it forever.
Yeah, I like the flip of the name with the sin in front of it, and it really compounds on the word itself, I feel like.
Right.
It's a super dope name, bro. Super dope.
It really shows too, like how much like hip hop has evolved, like with names too, because like you went for like you wanted to simplify it, but like Cynical Rhymes is more of a name that would be now today, or
right.
with like a few letters in front, like be like. Yeah. CWB, Cynical Rhymes, or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. You know what I mean? I remember, even back then, everything had like Lil in front of it. Everything was Lil. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be like Lil Cynical, or, but now you're right, man. Yeah. Back then it was a lot different. You just wanted like this one thing to define you. You know what I mean? You didn't want it to be this wicked long paragraph of NBA young boy never broke again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got exhausted saying that shit out loud.
Right. Yeah, yeah, that is funny how the trends kind of change, but that's how life is in general, and it'll come back around and shit. But
Right.
so anyway, so we went through your influences and shit. We went through, you started writing rhymes of your own. When did you start getting to the point where you took the rhymes from like your notebook to you're like, I'm gonna like show my friends this, and then get to the point so take us through that, and then from when you're like, all right, I can take this from my close friends in my circle and like start showing people this shit.
Great question, man. So I have this friend, right? And one day I came into school. It was ninth grade, and before class, we'd meet like a couple of different areas, and sometimes it was the cafeteria. So I sit down and I'm talking, and this dude loved hip hop because his older brother was like, he might be the biggest hip hop fan like in the entire universe. He was like, his older brother was the dude who put me on to Dilated Peoples, in Jedi Mind Tricks. So, right. So he's like, he just nonchalantly, he's like, hey, why don't you just put your shit on a CD? And I'm like, huh? He's like, yeah, just burn it. I'm like, what's burning? Burn what? I was like, what are you talking about, man? And so he's like, hey, I'm gonna do you a favor. Tomorrow I'm gonna come in and your songs are gonna be on a CD. Yeah, all right. Sure as shit, he comes in the next morning and he hands me a CD and he goes, here, pop it in. And like, in high school, I used to walk around with like a CD Discman and like the big Chaos headphones. And so I pop it in and it's me. And it blew my mind. I was on a CD. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I'm awesome. I'm like, how did you do that? And so he showed me what he did. And like, obviously now, like we all know how easy that is. But when it was first coming out, like I didn't know any better. Right. And so what I did is I took that idea and I had like 5 or 6 songs that I had recorded at the time. And so I burnt them to a CD. I came into school the next day, just wrote Cynical on it. Yeah. And I was literally just selling the CD itself, the CDR disc with the word Cynical on it to my classmates for $5. And I was like, here you go, 5 songs, $5.
Nice. Super nice. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, bro, at some point, like burning CDs and ripping CDs was state-of-the-art technology, bro.
It was, man. Yeah. This was no, I don't want to age myself too much, but it was a while ago, man.
Probably mid-90s, late 90s.
I wasn't that. No, I'm not that old. I'm not that old.
Well, I mean, it had to be in 2000s.
It was definitely in the 2000s.
Yeah. Maybe like 02.
It was. I think it was further than that, but we're getting close. We're getting hot. Right, cool. We're getting warm.
Cool. Well, I just remember like that shit. You're right. You're right. There's no way that came out pre-2000. Now that I'm really thinking about it, yeah, you're right.
I mean, maybe it was, but I wouldn't get to it because I mean, even when he told me about it, I was just like, poof.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
Now, back in those times, like obviously, like home studios weren't really a thing back in the early 2000s. Like, what were you like recording on? Were you like Windows Recorder on your computer or like Audacity? Like, what?
Yeah. So I mean, it started on Windows Recorder. Like there was a summer where I was I don't want to go too much into detail, but I was young. I was kicked out of my house, and I was real young, and I found Windows Recorder on a computer, and I discovered that like there was a hole in the monitor, and that was the microphone, and I was like, boom, game changer. Like I thought this was dope, But then. I joined like some hip hop boards and like some older dudes started to like school me to like how to do things and, in a cheap way. And so like that summer, what I did is me and my grandmother made like a pact. And she was like, if you do, like A, B, and C every time I ask it, if you want that microphone at Radio Shack, I'll go buy it. And I was like, let's go. And so back then I was using Cool Edit Pro that I jacked off the internet. Shout out to Peter Quisgard. If anybody knows, So I was using Cool Edit Pro and like a $35 mic from Radio Shack. And that was it. I really didn't know how to do any mixing or mastering or nothing. I mean, my shit sounded like trash, but people were buying it. And I was like, okay, word. But the struggle was real, man. You're right. Home recording studios, nobody had one.
Yeah.
And, the way that we connect with people nowadays, and it's so easy to get information, that information wasn't out there back then.
No.
And rappers weren't a dime a dozen either. You were like an anomaly if you rapped, especially if you were like a white boy and you rapped. You were, you know what I mean?
You got made fun of.
Yeah, you weren't from this galaxy. You know, you were like the only one. So you were kind of like stranded on your own island, and you were like, okay, figure it out. And so that's what I did. I figured it out.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I met a couple of rappers off online forums and posted my shit on the internet, and you know, I never really took into account that I was white, and and meeting up with these motherfuckers in real life, and they're like, Trip, you're white, bro. Oh my, you're white. And I
Right.
like,
Yes, it's mind blown, you know,
Of course
because
I'm
it was such a different it was like such a different landscape back then. Like I think like, you know, being white and rapping now, it's not super common, right? Especially in the mainstream, but like you can look at more than just one guy who's done it now. And back then there was like one guy you could look at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it was definitely weird. You know, you got a lot of hate from people on both sides of the aisle. You know, people hated you for the same exact reason.
Mm-hmm.
Big real shit. All right, guys. So now that we got a little bit of a backstory on Cynical, the man, I want to put you guys onto a little bit of Cynical, the artist. We are going to run the little promo that we had put up in the past week and a half. You might have seen it on socials running around. It's Cynical's verse from the Slain Grind Mode Cypher appearance, the original Slain Grind Mode Cypher. Shot this about 4 years ago.
Jesus, that's a long time.
Yeah, maybe even longer. I'm not sure.
Nice.
But this is a dope ass verse, and you know, we're gonna play this. So here we go. Mute your mic if you can for me. If not, I can mute it for you. All right, guys, let's get into it.
With wrath, envy, and gluttony, I'm the only sin. Society got us thinking they shooting kids. Shadow jaded, but this the kiss of what Judas did. I'm maneuvering, every movement is calculated. From beginning to the I'm a poet, a stoic, like when the Romans lived. Scripted and coded pen, not someone to go against. The lust, greed, sloth, pride got control again. With wrath, envy, and gluttony, I'm the only sin. Society got us thinking they shooting kids. Shadow jaded, but this the kiss of what Judas did. I'm maneuvering, every movement is calculated. From beginning to the end, I'm the alpha omega. In about like Frazier, Big said, stick and move. Northeast, but the southpaw Chattanooga. You damage hoes, standing pose like you Amber Rose. 2 hands, mouth open, that's a standing no. I've been here alone, the leader of the pack now. Money rain like it's Mayweather and you Pacquiao. I'm back now, break necks like I'm Hussein. It's grind mode, everything, what it do, I'm either a sick.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That was freaking dope.
I know that.
Super consistent as always.
Thank you, bro.
All right. Yeah, that's my guy.
What did y'all think of it? And y'all in the chat, was it fire? What's going on? We got some fire emojis.
Yeah, I've seen some fire emojis.
We got some Chattanoogs.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Someone wrote Chattanooga.
Yeah, Dave Big Haas. Yeah, Big Haas Dave Chattanooga. I don't know if he's just repping Chattanooga or what.
Some Chattanooga in there.
You're always killing your raps, bro.
Thank you, Angelica. Appreciate it.
Def killed it.
A-okay.
Robin. Shout out Robin. What's good? All right, cool. So now y'all heard a verse, y'all heard a little bit about Cynical. Let's take it full circle and talk about some Grind Mode Cypher shit. So actually, man, we're gonna have to run it back a little bit prior to Grind Mode Cypher because your relationship with Lingo goes back prior to Grind Mode Cypher. So you want to talk about how you, as a matter of fact, I wanted to mention this as well, guys. Like Cynical may be like the longest tenured affiliate that we've had on the show, you know, because Cynical dates back to the Silver City Records days, which was, you know, pre-Grind Mode Cypher with Lingo and Cynical and a couple other cats. But yeah, shout out Knowledge. What's up, guys? Coming in now.
What's up?
And shit like that. So you want to talk about like how you got introduced to Lingo and I guess take it all the way to Silver City and then connect it into Grind Mode, I guess.
Yeah, all right. So cool. Let me get
It's a long story.
we're going into the Wayback Machine. So the way that I met Lingo, okay. All right. So this is kind of around the same time period where I figured out how to burn CDs, right? So I put out this mixtape called 508's Finest. And it actually, what is he saying? Sorry. I'm an idiot.
He said facts would be between either you and Massacre probably that we've had on the show.
Yeah, probably, man. Yeah. I think Massacre probably started linking with Lingo maybe around the same time. So, but yeah, so I put out this mixtape and it's moving, like it's moving, you know what I mean? And so somebody by the name of Stacks hits me up one day. And this is back when we used to like talk on the computer and shit. So this dude hits me up and he's like, yo, what's good? You know, I go by Stacks. I'm with Silver City Records. And so we start talking and he's like, yeah, I'm not far away. Like dude literally lives 15 minutes down the street from me. Never heard of him, never heard of Silver City. Like, again, you got to keep in mind, everything was word of mouth. There was no social media, so you either knew or you didn't. And so we link up. I give him a copy of, my mixtape. He goes, he listens to it, hits me up like a day later. Yo, your shit is fucking dope. I want to introduce you to somebody. We're doing a show. It's in Taunton. So I go out to the show and he's like, so the dude I want to introduce you to is Lingo. Mm-hmm. So Lingo back then, he was kind of exactly what you would think of. Plus he was a DJ. So, so Lingo, he would find the venues, he would book the shows, he would put the performers on, and he would DJ the shit. So it was just ridiculous. And so I remember walking into the venue and Lingo's on stage and he's setting everything up. And this was back when the looked like spray paint on the t-shirts or whatever, like when those were popular. So he's wearing a shirt that says Lingo, Silver City Records. And I'm like, oh, this shit's dope. And so Stacks is like, yo, this is the dude, this is the little homie Cynical I was telling you about. Because at the time I was like, I just turned 16 years old. And Lingo was like already a grown man. And so what did he say? He's turning back into the events. That's funny. And so Lingo's on stage and he leans over and he daps me up and he's like, yo, what's good, bro? It's nice to meet you. And Lingo just had such a dope vibe. You know what I mean? He, you know how when you meet somebody, you can like instantaneously tell like, all right, I'm going to get along with them. They're a nice person. Like you can just feel all those things. There wasn't like an evil bone in his body. And so that's how I meet Lingo. So around this time, Lingo was in college, I think. And I was listening to Stacks' music and his quality was fucking incredible. And my quality compared to his was just doo-doo. And I'm like, how does your shit sound so good? And he's like, yo, Lingo records me and he mixes all my shit. And he's like, now mind you, he's like, do you want to go to the studio? And I'm putting this in air quotes for a reason. Do you want to go to the studio with me? I'm like, yeah, of course I do. I'm thinking I'm going to a recording studio, a real one. I'm going to walk in. There's the $1 million soundboard. There's speakers in the walls. Like I'm putting on my Sunday's finest, bro. Like, let's go. So we pull up and we all know where Lingo lives. It was the same spot, or his parents or whatever. It was that was the spot back then. And so we walk in and I'm just like, okay. And we go upstairs and it was bedroom. Okay. Dude had a water bed that was pretty much the size of his bedroom, a computer, and a microphone. And that was the studio. And that's kind of how it all started to come together, man. Ever since then, I've just known Lingo.
That's super dope.
That's pretty funny. I had a similar situation like that, so I can probably understand what was going through your head, like going into someone's bedroom, thinking that you're going into a studio. You're like thinking, man, this is some bullshit.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, what kind of shit is this?
That's why you don't oversell your shit, bro.
Oh, Stacks was back in the day, man. He could sell salt to a fucking slug, bro. He was good, bro. He would make you think that he could walk on water. And then when he wasn't able to walk on water, he'd blame it on the water. And you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah,
I know.
But yeah, that's how I met Lingo. And I would say about a year later, probably about a year later, Lingo actually did build an actual recording studio in his house. They converted the garage. I mean, he was still young. When I say grown ass man, like Lingo was like 22. You know, he was still young, 22, 23. And he was able to build a recording studio in there. And that was the first time I'd ever been inside of a vocal booth. And then I was just like, I made it. You know, that was it. Never been in an area so nice. And I remember us going down to Home Depot, like walking around with like him and his dad and looking for the supplies, and we're gonna need this kind of soundproofing and this kind of rug and this kind of paint, and putting in the hours and just making it all come full circle.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of the things of like paying your dues as an independent artist and as an up and coming rapper is like we've all built a studio at one point.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Raise your hand at the next event if you fucking have attempted or have actually built a studio at one point.
And everybody's hands go up.
Right. It's just something we all partake in for some reason, because it's part of the shit. It's part of our love and part of our craft. And to have a space that's completely dedicated to doing that is so, rewarding and fulfilling to have, that we've all, let me see what I can put together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Comes like in
a closet, bro.
And everyone always goes to the closet with like the freaking milk, like the Dunkin' Donuts crates and the egg crates and shit.
Yep.
People were watching Hustle and Flow too many times.
Yeah, that shit is not real life.
It was way before Hustle and Flow.
Never try to record in a space like that. Your shit is gonna sound like trash.
So that's dope, man. That kind of brings us up to how your introduction to Lingo and Silver City Records and shit.
Actually, I got cool stuff to talk about. I mean, so at this point, like, I've known Lingo for a little while, and I'm thinking like, okay, this is the first dude that I've met who's a producer, who's talented, who can mix, he can master, he can record. Like, he's a one-stop shop. And I remember me, Stax, and Lingo were in the car one day. Stax goes in to get gas, and I'm like, I'm nervous as shit. I'm like, because I'm still a kid. I'm like 16 years old. I'm like, and I'm thinking like, dude really knows what's good and how to do this. And I'm just like, so you make beats, and I'm just, I know he's about his money and all that. And I'm just like, so I'm trying to finesse my way into getting free everything, like free beats, free studio time, free mixing, all of that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to throw in like chips and all that. And I'm just like, yo, bro, like, where I'm at, my name is popping, son. If you make beats for me, your name is gonna get out there. It's good business for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And for the most part, it worked. But I think the reason it probably worked is because Lingo was like, yo, he's a cool cat. He's talented at what he does. We get along. Not that I ever got any free beats, or at least I don't remember getting free beats, but it would be like a 95% homie hookup. It wasn't much. I remember even when he built the studio and he was having people come in to record, he was like, yeah, man, just give me like $10 an hour. It's okay. That's nothing. Right. But then we, with Silver City Records, it was definitely 100% independent. Like, we were all putting in our own money in order to do things. So, Lingo was kind of the brains. He was the brains, and he had the recording studio. So we all recorded there. He made the beats. We rapped. He put the albums and the mixtapes together. Like, he came up with the 1 month of one mixtape a month concept, which reminds me of how he does the grind mode ciphers now. This is kind of what we were doing back in the day before, people had access to shoot music videos, right? And so we did a mixtape a month, and it would be all the people from Silver City. So you had people like Heights, who was originally from Brooklyn, but he was from Taunton. This dude Mulligan, a bunch of other dudes. I think Lingo at the time was in a group called Tri-State, and I think it was like Rhode Island, New Jersey, New York, or something like that. Right. So what we would do is we put out a mixtape a month, but we put our money up together to get the CDs pressed. Lingo would design the whole thing. We'd all get the CDs, and then we would hit the street, and we would just start selling them. Here, $5, $10, $5, $10. And then we would just take that money and keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And so that's why, like, when I look at what grind mode is, I'm like, Lingo's been doing this way before anybody heard the word grind mode. He's been using this same business model since I've known him.
Right. Awesome.
So what ended up happening where like you guys weren't doing that anymore?
So, like all good things with young people, they come to a head, and without having to go into any kind of crazy detail, what I can say is that Lingo was like the brains behind the operation. Stacks had a lot to do with it, and then I was in the background soaking it up and just kind of throwing in my 2 cents. But what ended up happening is that there was a disagreement between Stacks and Lingo. You know, somebody's head got a little bit too big for their shoulders. You know, they decided to venture out on their own. It seemed to kind of work. You know, he ended up getting a deal with Warner Brothers Music, and then shortly thereafter, he ended up, you know, doing some time. So that kind of all fell apart. But Lingo never missed a beat. You know, it was like, okay, fine. If it's not Silver City Records anymore, it's Shameless Self Promotions. Okay, it's not Shameless Self Promotions anymore. It's grind mode. Oh, it's grind mode Cypher. So he just never stopped. It was constant motion for him.
Yeah, that's super dope, man.
No.
Great story.
Should we ask another question, or should we go right into
rapid?
Yeah.
I think we can do one more question to because I'm on a high after that great story, so we need to wind down with something now before we get into rapid.
So I have a question then. So your first cipher was grind mode 22, I believe, right?
Yeah, man, good memory. I was gonna say, I'm not sure.
I have a photographic memory, so yeah. So I do. I'm not lying. So that was your first grind mode cipher. So why did it take so long for you to get on one? Like, were you part of that disagreement, or like did it just like times just never like got together?
So here's the thing. Before everybody, I don't know how many people know this. I know you guys know this, but before it was a video series, it was a mixtape series, right? It was grind mode. And so I was on a couple of those CDs. I think I can't even remember what they call. I think maybe one of them was, oh God, Summer in the City. I don't even know. But anyways, I was on the mixtapes when he was doing the grind mode mixtapes, and then it turned into like the video series. At the time in my life, things were really bumpy, right? I wasn't making music as much as I had always been. I would talk to Lingo here and there, like. You know, me and Lingo could not talk to each other for 3 years, run into each other, and it's like we talked yesterday. So, but I saw what he was doing, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, that's great for him, but I just wasn't like mentally there. And we would talk here and there, yo, hop on a Cypher. But back then, in order to get on a Cypher, you actually had to go out to one of the open mics that he was hosting, and you had to spit live a cappella. Or somebody would drop a beat and you had to rap. It was almost like an audition. And I was like, bro, I'm not trying out. Like,
oh, so you were like, you guys
like, bro, yeah, like we have songs together. Like we did a record label together. You want me to try out? You know, and he's like basically like, yo, just humor me. Just come out, have a good time, grab a microphone, fucking rap for a second, and you're on a Cypher. And I'm like, yeah, all right. And so I did it. I forget where we went. I think maybe it was like the Dive Bar in Providence or something. And so I came out one night and I spit a quick verse. And he was like, yeah, all right, so that's it. So the next Cypher that's coming up, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the reason it took a while. Like I took a bit of a step back. And then when I was ready, he was just like, yeah, cool, open arms. Like, come on.
That's cool. Yeah, that's around the same time. What did he say? Volume 22?
Yeah.
I was me and Johnny were just debuted the few prior to that. You know, Johnny with 19, right, Johnny? Yeah. And me at 20. So I had done the same thing. You know, taking a little step back. Yeah, I think you were you weren't in one before that.
What was it? Is there a
affiliated too?
Is it called Dusk or Dust or something? Yeah, Rhode Island.
Yeah, Dust.
I remember going to a Cypher at that location, whatever Cypher that was.
Mm-hmm.
And because I wanted to see like what it was like. You know, I'm like, oh, cool. I wonder what the people are like. I wonder what their vibe is like. How do they film the videos?
Yeah.
And I remember, I walked through the door and Lingo was like, come meet my boy Sinical. Come meet my boy Sinical. Like, you know what I mean? Like a proud papa showing off his son. Like, yo, this is my dude I've been telling you about.
That's funny.
And I thought it was dope. I'm like, yo, this is where it's at.
Mm.
Yeah, great times at every event, man. For the past 10 years. I don't remember the last time I had a bad time at a grind mode event, man. It's crazy.
Ever. I don't think it's ever happened.
I don't think it's possible.
Nah, it can't be.
It's actually, physics says it's impossible. 2-minute timer is about ready to go, guys. We're about to get into rapid fire. I wonder if my guest that just popped in wants
this dude.
I wonder if he wants
Lingo did that to you too?
What?
He made you try out?
He made you try out?
He made you try out?
It's horse manure is what it is.
It's ridiculous. He made Vendetta try out?
Yeah.
Yo, man, I'm telling you, man, he's not as nice as everybody thinks.
Right. No. Definitely not.
Yo, I just wanted to pop on real quick and tell you, salute, bro. You're a dope artist, and I'm glad you're a part of the team, man. Give you your flowers. You've been killing it. You stay killing it, and you stay working and consistent and professional, successful, dude. It's dope, man.
Thank you, bro. You know the feeling's mutual for everybody in this
Absolutely.
World. Every time I come out, no matter how long it's been since any of y'all have seen me, it's fucking high fives all around. How you doing? I hope everything's great. What are you working on?
Facts, bro.
You know what I mean?
So get out to the show.
Yeah,
See you Saturday.
Yeah,
Fine.
right.
All right, yo. I'm out though.
All right, fam.
Peace out.
Take
Later.
care.
So that was the AOK, the Underground Bishop, according to Ron. I like it. We can roll with that.
I want a cool nickname.
Yeah, I know, right, Ron?
Well, I thought you were
Underground Bishop. That's fire.
Bro, we got your nickname.
I'm really afraid of what it is.
I can't say it on the show. We might.
Oh, what I popped in is yesterday.
Yeah,
the BD87.
Yeah, BD87.
Yeah, pineapples, bro.
Yeah, pineapple. All right, guys. So you know the deal. We're about to get into rapid fire, brought to you by Brawlers Inc. Clothing. It's a series of either/or questions. We're gonna ask Cynical. We want just one-word answers. No, Johnny, help me out. No explanations, if you will.
Only if we ask, and we're not gonna ask. So
hold on. So people are gonna ask me shit, and I can only respond with one word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
11.
One choice.
Hold on.
But,
I want to take away this other shit here. Hold on. Let me make this.
And before you start the timer,
we
gotta do the official.
Welcome to Rapid Fire, brought to you by Brawlers Inc. Clothing. Tonight we got the homie Cynical rocking with us, and we're about to get into this joint right here. Johnny, have a question lined up?
Yeah, I do.
All right. And 3, 2.
Do you prefer to write on a pen and pad or on your phone?
Pen and pad.
Let's see. Bad Boy Records, Rockefeller Records.
Rockefeller.
Twinkies or ho-hos?
Ho-hos.
Loud Neighbors or Nosy Neighbors?
Fuck. Loud.
G-Unit or the Locks?
The Locks.
What country would you want to tour in the most? Should have saved that for later.
The United Kingdom.
Favorite brand of beer?
I don't drink beer.
Ooh. Christmas or your birthday?
Christmas.
Favorite Wu-Tang Clan member?
Not fair. All of them.
You can go to outer space or you can get to the bottom of the ocean.
Bottom of the ocean.
What is an artist that you would listen to when no one else is around?
Jesse Reyes.
I didn't hear you.
Jesse Reyes.
Okay. Lyrics or beats?
Lyrics.
Favorite TV show?
Modern Family.
Bagels or toast?
Toast.
Pancakes or waffles?
Oh man, fuck. Waffles.
The smartest man or the richest man?
Richest.
Method Man or Redman?
Method Man.
So you're rich and miserable, or you're broke and happy?
Rich and miserable.
Shirts or skins?
What is it? I'll take the latter.
Shirts or skins?
He said skins.
Skins,
Let's
baby,
see.
skins.
Hot weather, cold weather.
Oh, hot.
You're a hot boy.
Fuck that New England weather shit.
Yeah, facts. So that was fun.
I got a question. This is more for like rapid fire, but so you said you live in Fall River, right?
Not anymore. No, I moved.
But you lived there for a while, right?
That's the longest place I've ever physically stayed at one time. Yeah.
On that bridge over there, that actually says Cynical. Did you do that?
I didn't, and that doesn't exist anymore. They took it down.
Oh, they took it down.
It's gone now. It doesn't exist. But no, Scout's honor, I did not do that. I don't even know how to use spray paint.
Because it was spelled like your name and everything. So I always wondered, because my wife has like lived over there for mad long. So I was just like, I wonder.
Oh, you lived over near Seven Hills?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I didn't. I swear I did not do that. But it was up there for a couple of years at least before it went bye-bye.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was gonna if it was you, I was gonna say how horrible the spray painting was, but
no, that's totally fine, bro. If I did it, it would have looked way worse.
It was literally, it wasn't graffiti or anything. It was literally just spelt out like a 7-year-old did it. Cynical. I remember that. Yeah.
Right, like some 5-year-old just got a ladder and he was like, "Let's go."
There was some funny shit on here that AOK was putting on here. I laughed out loud at this. Yeah.
Or whispering.
Monopoly or Clue?
Oh, Clue.
Oh man, yeah, I go with you on Clue.
Hell yeah, bro. It was Mr. Green with a lead pipe in the library.
Was definitely in the kitchen for sure. Colonel Mustard. All right, so we took it back. We brought it up to Grimo Cypher. Now, you kind of described that you had been to Dusk or whatever, which is in Providence, and you came to a Grimo event to check it out and shit. And you thought it was a dope time. But you want to talk a little bit more about Grimo 22 and what that night was like, and if it met your expectations, or maybe what your expectations were, and a little bit of that, and then we'll move on.
That shit was incredible. I never filmed I never felt like I guess I'll say like a real video before, or I've been in like a real video before where, it was funny because it just popped up on my memories the other day. But like, you had who was it, Murph and one of his boys or whatever came in and like set up the lighting properly, and they had 2 different cameramen in there at the same time, like going back and forth, and it was just, it was like, wow, this is fucking, this is where it's at. And the environment was dope. I remember I had gone there like a couple of weeks before over, what was that? That was at Simon's, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I went to Simon's because that's where everything was always popping off on Sunday. So I remember pulling up and I was like, oh, I'm going to Providence. And I pull up to Simon's and I'm like, where am I? If you've never been to Simon's before, you pull up and you're like, this is something like straight out of 8 Mile. And, I go in and I remember it was Kid Karma who was on stage. And I'm like, I found Lingo. I'm like, this dude's dope. Where is he from? And I think he was from Connecticut or something at the time. And I'm like, this dude drove all the way from Connecticut on a Sunday to come and rap. And he was like, bro, they come from everywhere. And it was true. The longer you're a part of it, you realize that people really do come from like everywhere. And so when I did the Cypher, it was like such a phenomenal high. I don't know, man. It like really set the bar. I remember pulling Lingo aside after we were done, and I'm just like, I want to get on the next one.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
It didn't work like that back then. You only dropping, I think, like 1 a month. And he's like, I got you in like 4 ciphers from now. I'm like, bro, that's like 4 months.
Right. Yeah. That's probably when artists that were hungry, that's what gave Lingo the opportunity to build grind mode and what it is today. And honestly, artists like the 3 guys in this room right now are of reasons why grind mode was able to fucking just keep plateauing in the beginning is because, I mean, plateauing, that made no sense, but, you know, keep skyrocketing in the beginning because he realized that these artists were hungry and that,
Right.
oh, Sinical wants to be featured more than once every 4 months. Johnny wants to be featured more than, you know, and so on and so forth. So
Right.
kudos to you for being hungry, bro.
Oh, I was stopped. You know, once I got a taste of that, I was like, I want to perform here every week. I want to be in all the videos. I don't care if I'm even rapping. I'm just gonna stand in the back and do cool shit with my hands. Like, let's go.
Yeah, which you do a great job at.
Oh, I'm phenomenal at that.
Yeah.
I mean, yo, you put me in a corner, and I'm just like,
you're the coolest man in a corner in the whole room.
Averages like 20 high fives a night.
oh, easily. The white high fives, I'm good for that.
Bro's on the 20 high five a night. I'm like a good 12. I get, you know,
right. Even when like I go to the cookout, you can like just find me in a corner in like a lawn chair, eating a burger, not talking to nobody, just minding my damn business.
Sinical definitely leads the league in high fives.
Oh, 100%.
Sinical, when Sinical leaves, he's the type to not say bye to nobody. He just gets up.
I do it all the time, and I don't mean to. I'm like, oh, I gotta get going, and I just bounce.
I do that, and I do mean to.
Yeah,
Details.
I mean, yeah, I'm terrible at that, man. Or like, I'll try to find as many people as I can within like a 5-foot radius, and if I don't see you, you're not there, and so I just bounce.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's funny. Yeah, so that's dope, man. Yeah, it's my first Cypher event was crazy too. But like you had said, you know, I had been involved with grind mode prior to that and had like rocked the stage and really had a good sense of what the vibe was gonna be like. So it was no real surprise for me. But just the feeling, like you said, of being in front of the cameraman with the lights and that was my first real video shoot too. And
right.
And it's the real deal, man. And then again, when like, you know, that night, and then again when the Cypher gets released, is like a whole nother buzz.
Oh man, I think, yo, when I knew that the Cypher was coming out, I was like on YouTube, like refresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that shit came out, and I was just like putting my phone on like do not disturb for like 4 hours, rewind. You know,
Yeah.
you know, it's such a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, and you guys are going to know exactly what I'm talking about, but let's just like say you're somebody who's just starting out in music. You don't really know a whole lot. You just know that you like it and you want to do it. And then you find something like a grind mode and it's like, oh, so I just write the verse, I record it, you'll mix and master it, and then you'll film the video and release it.
Right.
And then there's all these events that I can go to, and there's all these people that I can link up with, and there's these producers that I can get beats from and features, and you know, it's just like endless possibilities. Like I can only imagine when I first started if I had all of that readily available.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. Wow.
Oh man, it would have been.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes. Yeah.
It would have been a wrap, bro.
That's why I think it's absolutely ridiculous and outlandish and blasphemous for anyone, you know, up and coming artists or current, you know, independent artists in the New England or even tri-state area to like slander or hate on this movement or platform or just choose to not get involved for whatever reason, because you're only doing yourself a disservice. And the network
it doesn't make any sense, bro, because like there's been so many people over the years who have literally gone on camera and been like, Gramo, baby, da, 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 da. And then as soon as something doesn't happen that they don't like, they're like, fuck y'all a bunch of cornballs, da, 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 Lingo sucks. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? What? You didn't get your way, so now all of a sudden this entire movement sucks and everybody a part of it sucks. But 5 months ago you were at the cookout, fucking high fives all around and shit.
Right. 20.
Right.
20 high fives.
And then after they leave, they don't do anything. Like, the music just stops. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And there's been a lot of that. The music just doesn't get put out anymore.
Anyways, point of the story was get involved. If you you know, if anyone's watching this on the replay, whenever you're watching this, we still around, bro. Come find us on Facebook, shoot us a DM, find us on Instagram, shoot us a DM, and come get involved with the fucking movement, man. We all over the place, so I'm sure we'll be by a city near you in your state one of these fucking months. Sinical, let's keep it moving, man. What are you working on now? What have you been up to in the past 5 years?
That's like a lot.
That was too big of a question.
That's a lot of years, man.
It was too big of a question.
Jesus.
Let's take it back to like the past 2 years.
Yeah, so like 6 months.
Sorry.
So actually, the other day, believe it or not, I mean, I was just on the phone with Lingo, and I was talking to him, and I'm just like, hey man, I'm looking to do an album. I want to get a couple of beats from you. It's been on a bucket list. As long as I've known Lingo, I've probably only rapped on like maybe a handful of his beats, and I think most of them have been probably from Cyphers. I don't think I've actually ever put out a single where I can be like, oh, produced by Lingo. So that's something that I really want to do. You know what I mean? Full circle, so to speak, right? So that's one of the bucket list things that I have going on. But I am putting an album together. I don't really have a release date yet. And then how many more months do I have to go back? I just went back like a week.
You gotta go. You gotta go back. You gotta go back a little bit farther than that.
Damn, son. I never. I had to take a bit of a break. I put out this video a while ago called Hiatus, and a lot of personal things happened in life. I lost people in my family. Just a lot of bad things just snowballed and happened all at one time. And I tried to keep it going, and I tried to keep moving, and it was just too difficult. You know what I mean? At some point you hit that wall, and you're like, yo, it's just not even possible. I need to take a step back. I need to refocus. And so that's what I did. And in that time frame, I was starting to make really good progress. And I talk about it in the documentary. I was able to do songs with people that I grew up listening to, like, Slang and Terminology. My records were being spun on Shady 4-5 with like DJ Premier and Static Selector. I was getting looks from like Hip Hop DX and The Source. Like all these incredible things were happening, and it was such a catch-22 because I had to like pump the brakes at the same time. But since getting back into it, within the last couple of months, I mean, I've put out, I don't even know, maybe like 4 singles, 5 videos. So I'm definitely focused. In my opinion, I'm making the best quality music that I've ever made in my life. I'm like really tuned into, the verbiage and how I'm putting songs together and how it's being released and the branding and the packaging and the marketing. Like I'm taking it from all angles and just trying to put it out there.
That's what's up. So where do you see Sinical going from here? What's the main goal? So
I think my main goal is to create a comfortable living off of music. Where it's sustainable for a lifetime. You see a lot of artists, no matter how big or small they are, even once they get that first paycheck, it doesn't mean that it's always going to be there forever and the money's going to come in until the day that you die, right? So my goal is to make a comfortable living where that money is always flowing in week after week, month after month. And this is what I do for the rest of my life. At some point, I'll be old and nobody want to look at me, and that's fine. But I definitely want to make sure that I'm still part of like the music business in general. I have no problem fading into the background once my moment is over. I wouldn't mind working with younger artists, managing them, showing them the ropes, or just being behind the scenes at like an indie label, something like that. But as long as I'm still connected to hip hop, I'm fine.
That's dope, man. That's super dope. Yeah, I'd like to do some type of like mentoring type shit as well at some point. Get back to like building the studio again and like seeing, what the local talent had. But then again, it's like nobody does that anymore because everyone just wants to do it on their own. And the comfortability you have and the you have access to all these parts of you when you're by yourself, as opposed to when you're in a stranger studio or whatever that you can tap into when you're at home, and it does create for a better artist. It does make for, if you can mix and master and record your own shit, it does produce better outcomes in the long run anyway. So but it would still be something nice to do.
No, I agree, man. Yeah.
But
I'm already doing mentoring. I mentor Trip all the time.
Yeah.
That's dumb as shit.
Yeah, lifesaver. This guy's a lifesaver over here. I was just over there last night putting down the Cypher verse for this weekend. So
is that the thing at Worcester at Electric Haze?
Yeah, we'll be over there Saturday from noon to 5, guys. We'll be at Electric Haze in Worcester on Saturday from noon to 5. Public
event. Not a 2-hour drive for me.
You can make it.
I just did a podcast last night in Drake it. Oh man, that literally took 2 hours.
Wow, that's wild. That's too long.
Yeah, it was long. I heard welcome to New Hampshire, welcome to Massachusetts. I was like, damn, that was a lot.
All right. Johnny, you got a table question.
Yeah. So I don't know if you watched the show, but we asked this question to everybody. You're at your favorite restaurant. At this table is 6 chairs. You're in one of those chairs. At the other 5 is anyone from any walk of life. Could be fiction or a real person. Could be a character from a movie. Could be dead, or they could be a real person, dead or alive. Who are at those chairs with you? Who would you want to be able to chop it up with over dinner?
Trip B.
Yeah, man. If I had the opportunity and I had 5 empty seats, you know, my grandparents who passed away a few years ago, 6 months to the day from one another, bing, boom, that's 1, 2.
Wow.
And I still got how many chairs left? 3, if my math serves me correct.
Yeah. Fall River Schooling.
So in those other 3 seats, I think it would be kind of selfish of me to have that moment all to myself. So I'd invite my mom, my uncle, and my little brother.
That's what's up.
You know, sit down and just enjoy a meal as a family and be able to talk to one another.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
What restaurant?
Oh, man. I don't go outside enough. I don't know, man. Chili's.
Anything with some good food.
Come on,
they sell food out there?
Honestly, yo.
You're in Fall River. Go to a Portuguese restaurant.
Oh, man. So have you ever been to, oh, my God. Have you ever been to the Cove?
Yes.
All right. So have you ever got like the Portuguese steak and eggs?
Yes.
That. And I would sit right outside to hear the ocean and just relax and just eat the Portuguese steak and eggs, bro.
If you want real Portuguese steak, go to Caravella's. But
I respect it.
The Cove is good, but their Portuguese steak is kind of Americanized. It's not real Portuguese steak. But
all right, fine. Check it out. There used to be a I don't know if it's
there is awesome though.
There used to be a spot right on South Main Street. I just can't think of the name of it right now. I wish I could remember, but yeah, it's right there on South Main Street, like, you know, maybe like 50 feet away from Kennedy Park. I just can't remember it, but that's where I used to go back in the day.
That's Caravella's, or
it is?
Yeah, it could have been right next door. It could have been Academica.
It was Academica. That's what it was. I was gonna say Academics, but in my head, I'm like, that's a clothing brand. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's a DJ too. Right?
Yeah, right. So yeah, man, they make a good one.
I wanted to play. I wanted to play the video.
The video?
Yeah, I want to play "It Don't Hurt Me."
Oh, okay. All right. I know the guy who raps in it. He's all right. Yeah,
so John, we're gonna play this little 3-minute video from Sinical. It's a solo video, official video off his YouTube channel. Guys, make sure you're gonna run over there and subscribe after this interview and follow him on his socials. I've got some of Sinical's links in the description of this video, so make sure you check that out as well. If you haven't liked the video of this interview, please do that as well. So this video, we're about to run back, and then we're gonna come back afterwards and wrap up the interview. So stick around for a bit, guys. Okay. Here we go. I gotta press some buttons. Not me. Yeah, mute yourselves. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, let me make sure we're in HD. Here we go.
Y'all don't understand the way that I live. I sold drugs and robbed people just to pay for the rent. I put myself in the position where I'm playing defense. You couldn't comprehend the game when you stay on the bench. I talk to God every day, try and make an amends. But the devil got me asking for this favor again. Lord, listen, if I make it, then it's all you. But the snake in my garden, off and it crawls through. I'm at an age where I play in the league that don't draft us. To the day where they hang my name in the rafters. You underestimate the way that I practice. On my publishing, you a puppet slave to your masters. Back when I was younger, there was pain, but I'd mask it. I would wake up in the morning full of anger and ask if life is like a movie, then who's paying these actors? I'ma flip the script on them, get the fame that I'm after. Dear God, if you heard me, I need to know, am I worthy? I'm not perfect, Lord show mercy. Try to pretend that this don't hurt me. Dear God, if you heard me, I need to know, am I worthy? I'm not perfect, Lord, show mercy. Try to pretend that this don't hurt me. I grew up in a broken home, but I broke the mold. With this world around me now, I feel I don't belong. I wrote these songs thinking this is how I cope, thinking I could blow. Yo, you can't have my soul. No, I don't need church to get closer to God. When the more time together would just leave us at odds. See, you'd have too many questions with your reasoning, Lord. This life that you gave me makes me want to even the score. I don't need to talk to you when you've seen it before. Like all the times that I prayed with my knees on the floor. No, I didn't stop believing, I just needed you more. I could've shut the door on you, so I leave it ajar. See, my first fist fight when I was pounding his teeth. And the first time that I was kicked out and bounced to the street. First time I sat down and heard the sound of a beat. When I turned 16, I thought now we would meet. Dear God, if you heard me, I need to know, am I worthy? I'm not perfect, Lord, show mercy. Try to pretend that this don't hurt me. Dear God, if you heard me, I need to know, am I worthy? I'm not perfect, Lord, show mercy. Try to pretend that this don't hurt me.
Super dope. Definitely really dope.
It was all right.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to play that, man. It's a dope joint.
Yeah, the visuals are fire. Did you direct the video, or was that Sando Films that directed it?
So Sando filmed it with all the videos. I create the treatment, so he knows exactly, what we need to do. But while we're there, I mean, he's always thinking of ideas, so I can't say, it was just me. So yeah, he definitely had a hand in the directing. And then with the videos, I like to edit all of them. So I take all the footage home, and I edit them before they come out.
I was gonna say I didn't know you edited your own shit. That's really dope. And I was thinking as I watched the video how well it was edited. So dope.
Thanks, man. I'm very hands-on, like if I'm in the studio, I'm right there next to the engineer. I just, it's my product. I want to make sure that it comes out exactly the way I envisioned it.
Yeah, absolutely. And video editing is a talent in itself, because not only are you telling a story with the song, but you're telling a story with the video.
Right.
So you did a really good job. Like, obviously, like there was like flashbacks to you as a 16-year-old there, and
right.
The angles were great. Yeah, that you can't get much of a much better video than that, in my opinion.
Thanks.
That was really solid.
Thank you. Not without 6 figures or whatever. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, it was super dope, man.
You don't even need 6 figures. Like for something like that, that was perfect for that song. Perfect. I have no complaints about that at all.
Kid's a pain in the ass in the studio. Sure am.
What is it about you that makes you a pain in the ass in the studio?
Well,
so hands on. You already said it.
Yeah, it's gonna be depending on who you ask, but there's a combination of reasons. One, I'm picky as fuck. I'm like such a perfectionist when it comes to shit. So like if you're engineering something for me, you're gonna hate it because I'm gonna pick up on every little tiny detail that doesn't sound right, and then I'm going to tell you what you need to do to make it sound right.
Right.
So I just hate to stop you there, but are you one of those guys that will record it and listen to it and then hear something, record it the exact same way you just did, and then be like, all right, now it's dope.
Yep. You bet. That's yeah, man. Not only that, after a little while, I'll probably start to get like ADHD. Like when I was a kid and I would record with Lingo, I remember like lifting my shirt up and like pressing my nipples against the glass and screaming at them. I do shit like that. So, it's a combination of, sometimes I just want to a part of me just wants to have fun. And then the other part of me is completely in the zone. I'm just super picky, man. I'll be like, I don't like that. I like that. I like that. I don't like that. And then I'll be like, hey, remember that thing I said I liked? I no longer like it. So don't do it.
Well, it's the thing. It's very similar way. Like you know you're being a pain in the ass, so you try to lighten the mood a little bit.
That's exactly what I have to do.
That's what I do
You know
to Johnny all the time. That's what I was doing with Johnny's last night. Same thing.
No, if you put your titties on my window, bro, I'm kicking you out.
Yeah, minus titties.
Yeah,
minus titties.
But yeah, man, I'm just like, yo, I'm just I never really know what I want when I'm in there, and I'll do my best to describe it, but my brain don't work like everybody else's. I can see it, you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that I can relay it to you the proper way.
Right.
And you're the only one who knows, what you're trying to articulate and what you mean in your own thoughts. So it makes it like super difficult to
exactly
to convey that message sometimes,
Right.
And then when the engineer just nails it, you'd be like, ooh. And that's all you need to do or say or whatever. Like,
ooh, yeah.
If lean in or like that. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, if I'm in the studio and I'm like working on something, whether it's if I'm writing, if I'm recording, or I'm there for the mixing session, the minute I go to stand up and I like get real close to you in the screen, that means you did something I like, and my head will start like doing this, and that's like, okay, you now have my attention.
That's dope. All right, well, I think I got one last question. Now we normally end it with the table question, but I didn't know how I didn't know how the end of the show was gonna go. So let me just ask you this. You've got an opportunity to open for a bigger artist, maybe in front of a crowd of like 3,000 people.
That's it?
Or what'd you say?
That's it?
Yeah, 3,000. 5.
That's not even the House of Blues.
You want 5?
Yeah, 5. We'll say 5.
All right, you want 5. All right, Cynical wants 5. So we're gonna rearrange the question for Sin.
Yeah.
So you could open for a bigger artist in front of about 5,000 people, maybe at like the House of Blues.
Is it House of Blues?
If you want it to be.
Well, I need to know because I need to visually put myself there in order to answer your question.
He's like, hold on, I have to visualize.
So I'm in the House of Blues?
Yes.
Am I backstage?
Bro.
Or am I in the audience and I get pulled on stage? Am I part of this? Like what?
Lingo, I know what you mean, bro. Lingo, I know what you mean, bro. Pineapples. Pineapples.
The over the shoulder, that's me, bro.
Pineapples, bro. Minus titties. So all right, you can open for a bigger artist with with an extremely large crowd.
Yeah.
Or you can or you can like perform a more local show where Cynical is the main act, and there's only going to be about 300 to 500 people there.
Local show, 300 to 500 people there. Let's go.
Elaborate.
So, all right. If even let's just say I performed in front of 5,000 people, right? And everything would have to be perfect. It would have to be like the artist is, extremely similar to me so that their fan base is going to be extremely similar to mine. And I can tell you that right out the gate, there's probably not going to happen. And I'm not saying that to like be cocky or anything like that. I think my sound is really unique. And I don't think there's a lot of other artists, musicians, or whatever the case may be who have my particular sound. Therefore, trying to find my particular sound base might be a little bit more difficult. But if I could headline an event and I could get 300 to 500 people in a local joint, then I know that I'm getting crazy amounts of love. So like if I was to do something at like the Middle East in Boston, I know that if 300 to 500 people showed up, they're going to be from Mass, they're going to be from Rhode Island, they're probably going to come from New York, Connecticut. Like it's going to be that East Coast strip right there. And I would much rather have 300 to 500 people in the audience who are like, yo, I came here to see you. And then I want to make sure that I give them the best show they've ever seen.
Facts.
Good point. My only discrepancy with that is how do you know there's not 300 to 500 out of the 5,000 that came to see Cynical at the House of Blues?
I mean, there can be, but like, you know how it goes when you open up for like other people or whatever. They're not there to see you. You're just there to put, to basically grab their attention before the headliner goes on. Like that's your job. If you grab a couple of fans in the process, that's great. But as soon as you hop off that stage, they already forgot all about you because they came to see someone else.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Cynical, let the people know where they can find you and give some shout outs.
Shout outs, man. Well, you can go to my website, cynicalhiphop.com. Highly suggest, if you want to stay in touch, you know what I'm up to, you can join my mailing list. As far as social media, all of it is at Cynical Hip Hop, literally all of it. So if you wanted to follow me or check me out, you can do that. Shout outs, I don't know, people.
Oh my God.
Shout out to Planet Earth.
Yeah, shout out to Planet Earth.
Big facts.
Nah, man, I don't really do shout outs. I have a small circle. The people who matter, the people who I talk to, like I talk to you guys, obviously. Everybody who knows me, I'll talk to y'all on the regular. But I would say, shout out for my fans. I got a lot of day ones who've been rocking with me for a long time. Every once in a while, they come out the woodwork, and it's wild to hear the stories and where they're from. And so I really appreciate that.
You know what? You got to make it out to something besides the barbecue one of these days, man. We'd love to have you back as a regular on these events, man, because you know the deal.
I'll probably do the Worcester thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't
pop out. Yeah.
I ain't gonna rap, but I'll come out and say hi.
Yeah, I mean it's tomorrow anyway, so unless you recorded it and sent it tonight, you should have.
It's tomorrow?
I mean Saturday, excuse me. I just did the same thing to Lingo earlier too. So
right.
Yeah, it's Saturday. Yeah.
I'll make sure I get a little bit more
12 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we need more cats like you. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Need more cats like you, bro.
Appreciate it.
MC and the person. I mean,
respect it.
I mean.
All
right, guys. Well, on that note, this has been volume 60 of Behind the Grind. I need you guys to check the description for those links if you need to. Again, it's cynicalhiphop.com. It's at Cynical Hip Hop on all social platforms. Like I said, this guy's been rocking with the big homie for as long as you possibly could, pretty much. And he's really one of the biggest members of the fam we have. And I'm lucky to finally have him on the show, man. So I'm souped, man. So
anytime y'all want me to come back and say what up, you got it.
All right. Well, it's gonna be like 4 months, and I gotta have like.
That's fine. I got time.
And you gotta like audition before you can come out here again.
Oh man, y'all are bugging.
That's what it is.
So technically, you guys basically did an audition yesterday.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
My screen name was a little bit different, but yeah.
The other day.
Yeah, the other day.
The other day.
Right.
All right, y'all.
You'll have to come to the casting couch right here.
Thanks.
You know what happens on the couch. You know what happens on the casting couch.
I'm here for a job interview.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you bring your purse and some moist towelettes.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, guys. Volume 60 Behind the Grind is a wrap. We will see y'all Saturday in Worcester. For everyone watching this on the replay, we appreciate y'all. Much love, yo.
Peace out.